do all sorts of things. And you know, the companies that they're representing have tried to stop, you know, like I'm just going to say the IRS because that's a famous one. You know, people calling from the IRS. In fact, there's a movie we saw, I can't remember the name of it right now, had, the guy you like. Anyway, I'll think of his name in a minute. But anyway, about how the IRS will call you or something. Well, the IRS tells you right out, they do not call you. We never will call you and ask for money. But you know, it's pretty darn convincing when someone calls you and says, okay, you owe the IRS $1,300. If you don't pay me right now or pay today, then we're going to seize your bank account, seize a lot of things. Yeah. That's scary when you get to that. But then, that's a perfect time for us to recognize that, oh, wait a second. When I feel, you know, those goosebumps that are cringing up inside of me, this is a perfect time for me to recognize that that's my personality doing that. There's nothing else that can do that. That's my personality. So how can I look at this from my spirituality? And that is to just stay calm. If you're still on the phone with that person and say, hey, you know what? Let me do some checking on this. And they're not going to stop. I'll tell you that right now. They're not going to stop and say, you don't have time to check. You need to give me that money right now. Give me your bank account number. Don't do that, please. So you've got to, though, stay within yourself and understand that, I need to ask somebody some advice or something. Find out a little bit more about this. Because regrettably, the IRS is a good example for me because I have to pay them every year. And I know that they don't call you, but they send you letters. They do send you letters. And they do give you deadlines. So reunify. Our individuality is our spiritual self. That's who we have to live from. That's how we can live the 100% gold path life. Our human nature is to be expressing from our individuality, not from our personality. That doesn't mean that you have to be a pauper and go around poor or anything like that. Because what do you think that, if your mind has a vision of what heaven looks like? I mean, in some point in your life you've thought of what heaven looks like. Have you ever thought of it as being a dump? As being a place where you go and there's just, oh man, this sucks. I've never heard anybody's definition of heaven that way or their idea of heaven. So if you can live that now, if you can live heaven now, it's going to be pretty nice, isn't it? So let's do it. I got to tell you, I'm going to tell you something out of this. A fully spiritual person will be expressing from their individuality and be fully healthy, wealthy, and wise. That last one is kind of tricky sometimes. It's kind of like the phone call I was just telling you. Okay. If I owe somebody money and they haven't got they're not right in front of me with a gun in my face, then I can hold off a minute. Let me gather my thoughts and let me see what's going on, whether I have to hang up on that person or whatever. So the wisdom is what sometimes escapes us. This stuff we've proven in unity, and I know a lot of people in this room have proven that's no problem. This one, sometimes we have to work on. We should. It's just as easy as this one, but we can do it. But we have to have this too, to do with these two. So they all go together. They all unify. And in order to do that, we have to be unified with one another. Let me tell you something. I've told some of you about this. I'm really not supposed to tell this story, but I'm gonna. I've already told some of you. Francie and I have this friend, and they called a couple of weeks ago and said, would you come to this house and change these light bulbs? And I said, okay. They're going to pay me. I said, oh, okay. They're a friend. I don't know why they'd pay me to change light bulbs, because I'll change light bulbs without charging. We get to the house. It's not a house. It's a mansion. And Francie calls it the compound, because it's got 3 sides around a courtyard. Anyway, it's 64,000 square feet. I've worked on it for 2 straight days, and I've only done 1 of the 3 levels, and I'm not done with that first level. And I should have put some pictures up here for you, but I showed some of you some pictures, and it's got, as you walk in, it's got two chandeliers, each chandelier to the left. Each chandelier probably has, I'd say, what, 60?
No, probably
100 bulbs in it. To the left in the foyer, No, is that the living room? And the right's the foyer.
That's the sitting room to the left.
Oh, the sitting room's to the left, excuse me.
Yes, and to the right is the foyer.
To the right's the foyer, it has one chandelier, and then this grand staircase, it has 2 chandeliers on that, so that as you go in, you got 5 grand chandeliers, and those chandeliers are probably worth more than my house. I'm not saying anything bad, it's wonderful. But then, it's beautiful place, beautiful place. So I understand why he was going to pay me, because it's I'm already sore from changing light bulbs. But I have to get up and down that ladder a lot, too.
How's your toe?
So, yeah, exactly. I hurt my toe before it started, too. But anyway, so, when we listen, just listen to life and say yes to it sometimes. I'm not talking, be safe, but say yes to it. Some pretty funny things and great things happen. One of the greatest things is we're able to stay in this house while we're working there. And so we stay in a house, in one of the rooms, which I told Francie, we've got some rental houses in Wichita, and I said about 3 of those rooms. Well, if you include each one has a suite, a master suite, or bath to it. So if you include the bathroom, it's probably the ensuite, excuse me. If I include the bathroom in those rooms, 2 of those rooms would be my rental house.
Maybe just the bathroom and the bedroom.
Maybe just one. Okay. Anyway, it's crazy. But why I say that is because as far as reunifying, we have to listen. We have to be open and be aware of what's going on around us. And be open to that. Because there is good all around you. But if we train ourselves to look for the bad, then that's what we're going to see only. You follow me? Now, I've always been a news hound, and that doesn't bother me. I don't know why, but I can watch the news without bothering me, and just to know what's going on. But for a lot of people, in fact, the majority of people, I would say, don't watch the news. Because it's mostly negative. Not all of it, but by far the majority of it is showing you something negative that's happened. Something that will make our personality, make our skin, ooh, how could that happen to somebody? How can somebody do that? But until we are ready to look at each other in that spiritual sense, we won't know what their situation is. Do you follow me on that? We won't know what their situation is. And we're not trying to, if someone's in a bad situation that feels like that's how they have to get out of it, is to do something bad, we don't want to be in that situation with them, but we want to see them out of that situation. I'm just using you because I love you, okay? I'm not seeing them in a bad situation. But we want to see that person out of that situation and treat them as if they are the richest person in the world or whatever we admire. We have to treat each other equally.
Yes.
You follow me on that? Because that's different sometimes. What happens when the boss comes in the room if we work for somebody? Sometimes we get tensed up. Oh, the boss is here. Oh, I better make sure I'm looking busy. If you're busy anyway, don't worry about it. If you're getting your job done anyway, don't worry about it. That is another person, believe it or not. And so I want us to really grasp in this. To be a fully spiritual person, we will be expressing from our individuality and be fully healthy, wealthy, and wise. You ready to do that?
Yes.
And so it is. Amen.
Amen.